Wallace. Now, of course, just a week or two ago, he very sadly didn't get the NATO job as Secretary General, and Jens Stoltenberg kept his job. Not only did he not get that job, but he's now decided that he doesn't want his current job either. So he has said he's resigning as Defence Secretary at the next cabinet reshuffle. So we don't exactly know when that's going to be. It could be any time before 2025. Maybe he will see out the current Parliament. But at that point, he says he's also not going to re-stand for as MP. Now, David, what do you think the top reason would be for him leaving his post?
Well, disgruntled at not getting the top job, I thought was the one that occurred to me. But
no, he wasn't that. He wasn't that inventive. He stuck with the old trope of because of the effect that my job has on my family, I need to move on. He's using playing the family card. But anyway, of course.
Wait, hold it a bit. He was applying for head of NATO whilst NATO's at war with Russia. And his reason for leaving his job at the MOD is he wants to spend more time with his family.
Well,
does he think we're all dumb?
Yes. So let's move on. We'll just show you how dumb he thinks we all are. Because, of course, the problem was that last week, he at the Vilnius conference, he made this comment: the UK is not an Amazon-style weapons delivery service for Ukraine, because he was getting a bit bored with the criticism that we're not supplying weapons to Ukraine fast enough. So that got a bit of bad press, certainly from the Ukrainians, and he felt the need to respond to it. So let's bring the tweet on screen. As you can see, it's in Ukrainian, so we will translate. There's a bit of a Twitter thread here. We will translate what he had to say. So let's bring this on. My comments about how best to support Ukraine caused a lot of interest and were somewhat misrepresented. For the record, as someone who's been at the forefront of mobilizing support for Ukraine, I've discussed the challenges that may arise as we work towards the common goal of helping Ukraine get what it needs to defeat this illegal invasion. I said that Ukraine sometimes needs to realize that many countries and in some parliaments, there's not such strong support as in Great Britain. It was a comment not about governments, but more about citizens and members of parliaments. We're fortunate that the citizens of the United Kingdom and all parties in our parliament support our efforts to provide Ukraine with the necessary means. Our approval ratings for supporting Ukraine are amongst the highest in Europe, over 70%. My comments were meant to reflect that it is important to remember not to talk to yourself, but to make an effort to reach out to other citizens who still need to be convinced. The comments about Amazon were made last year to emphasize that Britain's relationship with Ukraine is not transactional, but more partnership-based. So now this comment about last year, this is a bit fishy because now remember he had written this in Ukrainian, or he had put it out on his Twitter feed in Ukrainian. So I assumed that maybe this was a translation issue because I used auto-translate to get that. So I asked Alex Thompson to translate this particular tweet for me, and he said it's absolutely right. It says last year, but we've got to remember that Deborah Haynes, just on the 12th of July there, was talking about the UK is not an Amazon delivery service for weapons to Ukraine, says Defence Secretary Ben Wallace. And she said that he was responding to a question from Sky News about whether the failure of allies to give Zelensky a timeframe for NATO membership at the NATO summit would undermine the morale of his troops on the front line. So there's no question that Wallace said this at the NATO summit. So why he's decided to put in his tweet last year, don't really know. But anyway, he went on to say, I will personally continue to support Ukraine on its path for as long as it takes, but national parliaments often have competing needs, and Ukraine and the UK must continue to encourage this strong support with facts and friendship. So that's basically his excuse for the comment. And very briefly, David, I don't know what to make of that.
Well, there's another possible interpretation that he's looking for his next job to be head of marketing for Amazon.
Well, it could be. Anything's possible. Now, let's change tack then and move on to